we're live.
Good evening. So I'm just going to be interviewing Shannon Kelly. So when I was asked to facilitate this entrepreneurship workshop, I wanted to add some real entrepreneurs that I knew and to make it part of this online workshop. So Shannon Kelly was definitely one of the women I wanted to highlight. Shannon Kelly is firstly an amazing mentor to me. She is a Métis woman from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. She owns the magazine The Vintage Gypsy. She has a soap business called Love Me Tender. She has a podcast called Storytelling, Magic, and Medicine. She is a woman's transformational coach. Did I miss anything, Shannon?
I don't think so. I think so. It just sounds
Okay.
like, wow, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Right, right. So welcome, Shannon, and thank you for agreeing to share your story with the women. I think you're really going to inspire them.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, so we'll start with our first question. So, how did the idea for your business come about?
Well, my business started about 6 years ago. It started with the magazine. And, like most mothers, my kids were teenagers and they were just, they didn't really need me anymore. They were doing their own thing. And I had always been a writer. And so I really thought that I would get back into doing some journaling and writing. And I'm not exactly sure how it happened. I thought I would start a blog is what I thought originally. And so I was online and I was reading other blogs, and this course came up, and it was like a 4-week course on how to do a magazine. And I guess it was divine timing, and creator said, hey, you should do that. So that's what I did. And I, honestly, like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Mm-hmm.
um but it was a really beautiful platform, and it was a really beautiful idea for women to come together and share their stories, because I think we need to get to that point when we all have stories to tell. And in a world where everything is so disconnected from each other, and we crave that connection. And I think that the magazine created a space where women could come together and relate to each other in their stories.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, what was the key driving force to become an entrepreneur?
um well, I had a government job for many years, and I just was really unhappy there. And I felt, once I had started the magazine, and I really just felt inspired to do more and do more and do more. Like, I was so inspired by the women that I worked with, and all of the women that started showing up and sharing their stories. And it took me on a healing journey as well. Um, I hired a mentor for myself, and then I took over that position for other women. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just really started to grow, and I loved it, and I found such joy in it that I really just wanted to do it full time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how did you come up with the name of your company? So
Well,
yeah.
so I call myself the Vintage Gypsy, um, because I've always been a bit of a gypsy. And I I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I kind of packed my kids around from town to town. I needed to move there so I could go to college, and then I moved. I got a divorce, so I moved to Prince Albert, where my sister is, and I felt like I was kind of a gypsy. And I'm kind of getting vintage.
Nice. I love it. Um, so when you were funding your business, getting money to start up your different businesses, where did you get the funding from, if you could answer that for me?
Well, I did look into some financial help at points. I actually didn't qualify for anything. I funded my own business through my work. I worked full time while I grew my business, and so if you ask me if it's possible, yes, yes, it is, with no funding from anywhere. I think there's a lot of help out there for young entrepreneurs, especially Indigenous entrepreneurs, if you look in the right places, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So what's your greatest fear in regards to your business and how do you manage it?
I don't have fear. I'm fearless.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
I
so
mean,
good.
of course, there's always fears that come up, right? Like, am I going to be able to make this work? You know, are there, are there, am I going to have clients? Are people going to buy my products? Um, I believe that I'm on the right path. I think, my soul said to me, yep, this is where you're supposed to be. I find a lot of joy and a lot of passion. And I think as entrepreneurs, as long as we're always coming from that place, I think Creator provides for us.
I believe that too. Everything just aligns and goes smoothly, right? When you're on the right track.
Well, and I think, yeah, I think when you're
Yeah.
on
Did I
your
think we
path,
glitched?
yeah, we did a little bit. That's okay. I
It's
believe that if
back.
we're on the right path, then we take the aligned action.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always steps that we need to take. And I think when we really get focused on what the vision is for ourselves, we start to create that path for ourselves and it opens up, and we all of a sudden know what we're supposed to be doing next.
Nice. Do you believe there is some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur? Power hour every morning. Right?
Well, right, and
Yeah.
I truly believe that tapping into that vision that you have for yourself is key to being a success. I mean, of course, success is defined however you want it to look. I guess that's why they call me the rebel entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
I'm not really good at following the rules. I do believe um, that we just really need to tap into ourselves, and we have the answers within us. And of course, there's always tips and tricks like the Power Hour.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like, I think we need to create success on our own terms, whatever that looks like for us.
Yeah, totally. So what piece of advice would you give to female college graduates or any Aboriginal woman who's wanting to become an entrepreneur? What advice would you give to them? Like, yeah.
Start.
Yeah.
Just start, right? Really. And I think having that clear vision of what it is that you want to bring to the world, and the things that you want to manifest for yourself in this lifetime, I think that's really important. There's a lot of overwhelm, when of course when you're breaking through the fear and the resistance of moving into entrepreneurship. There's a lot of fear around that. Do it anyway. Do it
Mm-hmm.
anyway. If that's what your heart and soul is telling you to do it. And if you need to, seek out a mentor, right? I mean, that's what I did. I found it really priceless for me to have that person that kind of said, "Hey, this is what you should do next," or this is, or to hold you accountable when you were feeling overwhelmed, and just somebody to turn to that's been on that journey. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really important to have a support system in place.
So when you were seeking a mentor, did that person just show up? Or like, how did you know which mentor to choose? It just kind of came your way?
Well, yeah, like she just came, she fell into my lap. Um, and to be honest, I didn't really know I needed her until she showed up. It
Till
was
she
like one of
showed
the,
me she, yeah.
right? It's like one of those things where I was struggling in my business, and I was all over the place, and I was trying to figure it out. And yeah, like she just kind of showed up, and after I chatted with her, I was like, you know what? This is the woman I want to work with. She kind of had the
Yeah.
same values as me. She believed in the same kind of energy work, that we do, and um, that we strive to share.
Hmm. I also found that a good tool for the women who have no idea, who want to be entrepreneurs, but they have no idea what business they want to do. I find that it helped me to think back to my childhood And what I like to do, and I know I like to play store, and I always wanted to be the storekeeper. And I still have that entrepreneurial spirit of owning my own store, shop, whatever coffee shop, whatever plans I have. Do you, what you wanted to do as a child, is that what you're doing now? You know what I mean?
Well, in not maybe not in in so many words, but I was always a journaler. I always wrote stories, and so I think like when you say that, it kind of hit home with me is because yeah, I did. I wrote stories, and I did dream of being a writer, and um, I think also that we have to look back at, at our families because all of our experiences, up until now come from the people that we've had in our lives. So what were our values and our morals that we were taught? Like, where does that entrepreneur spirit come from? And what are the things that you're good at? And what are the things that you enjoy doing, right?
Mm,
Because when you take on a journey or an adventure like being an entrepreneur, it is a journey, and it doesn't happen success doesn't happen overnight, so you have to be really willing to persist and be consistent and continue on, even when times get tough. And so you better hope you're doing something that you love. you
yeah,
got to
for
be doing something
sure.
that, you got to be doing something that makes you want to jump out of bed every day.
Right? Yeah. I know in this workshop too, I was looking through the different modules, and that was one of the suggestions they had in there was to, if your business isn't going the way you planned, you kind of have to have a backup plan to tweak it or to, remove some of the things you're selling and add more. And yeah, so that was interesting too. Like I know you've had a few different businesses and not all of them worked, right? But a lot of them did.
Well, for the most part, I think they all play a part in the
Okay.
journey. They don't all make money per
Mm-hmm.
se, but they're all a kind of a part of the whole of what I do. In the entrepreneur world, we call that when things are not going well and you have to kind of look at your business structures. We call that the pivot, right? So maybe this isn't working. So what can I do? How can I change that, or what can I do to make it better? Um, it really is just about tapping in back into that vision and saying, okay, well maybe this isn't working right now, but maybe I can tweak it or change something about that that will work.
Okay.
And so I've done that many times on my journey. Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. Yeah. I was gonna ask, how do you not get discouraged? Because when I put something together, a little workshop or whatever to offer the ladies, and something's quite not working, ladies aren't taking part and stuff. And I put, I think, a lot of work into it. I'm like, why didn't that work? But then you're right. Time passes, and then I'll offer another little program, and then everyone's like all into it. So yeah, it's a journey, definitely. Hey.
Well, it's a journey, and it really is about, learning as you go, because there is no right or wrong answer to do things the way, you want to do them on your terms. Um, some things work better than others, and sometimes, when we fail, we have to look at that as an opportunity to grow as well and learn something from that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And to use it as a stepping stone.
Yeah, because sometimes it's only, it has something to do, something so simple like, the way you're marketing it, or the way you're talking about it, or what you're writing, or you're not telling them the right thing or whatever, and you just keep going, you just keep tweaking it until it's right, and it becomes second nature when you start selling stuff to become, to understanding what it is that you're putting out there. And I actually truly believe that the more authentic you are in your story and in what you're putting out in the world, the better it does, because the energy is there behind it, and people connect with authenticity. Like they they want to connect with you as a real person. So I think that's really important. A lot of times, we think we need to have it a certain way, and you know it needs to be perfect, or and so we try and write or try and sell the way we think we should do it or the way we think other people do it. When in reality, you have to come back to you. People are buying from you, so they want to know your story. So what are you bringing to the table? How can they connect to you in an experience that happened for them?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And then when we're authentic and vulnerable and people see that, they feel more relaxed and, oh, maybe I can relax and be the real me too, instead of putting on this mask all the time, right?
Exactly. It really is about
Yeah,
taking that mask off and allowing everybody to just be themselves or their most authentic version of themselves that they know of at the time.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I think that's everything. All the questions were answered, and thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so honored that you asked me to come.
Hmm.
And if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me later on or whatever, feel free to shoot me a message and
Yeah,
I'd be
totally.
happy to answer them.
So on Facebook, she's Shannon Kelly, or the Vintage Gypsy, right?
Yeah.
And then her soaps are Love Me Tender and the podcast
Storytelling.
Storytelling, Magic, and Medicine. And
Yeah.
you can get that on Spotify, right?
You can get it on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay, see you.